Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Facebook Live on Fridays. And today we have Vishnu Virtues and he's a letting go coach who specializes in helping people to let go. And I've noticed that I haven't been completely detached from my ex-husband. That's why I feel like it'll be a great moment where um, Vishnu is going to help me coach myself live so you can see the whole authentic process. I'm just trying to connect myself to Instagram, and for some reason it's not working. So I will keep going before I bring Vishnu on. Pardon me. Try it again. Okay. For some reason it's not working. Sorry. Let me try this again. Okay, I'm going to do this instead. Okay. Okay. What is going on? It's not working. Well, in that case, I'm just going to bring Vishnu on. If Instagram doesn't work, we'll kind of keep it that way. Okay, I'm going to bring you on right now. Hi, Vishnu. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, that's too bad about Instagram, huh?
I know. It literally says pause due to poor connection, and I'm using like my data, and it's still not working. It keeps like reconnecting. So unfortunately, I don't think it works. I will keep trying later, but I think instead of stalling,
Okay,
it's better for us to continue
sure.
if you're okay with
That's
that.
fine.
So,
Yeah, totally fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're here in the audience, let us know comments. And we're going to get our live coaching underway. Earlier, I was just explaining how I realized I still hung on to my ex-husband a little bit energetically. I have to be honest. I was asked one question recently. If your house were to burn down, and if you were to take, an item and make sure you salvage it, what would you take? And it was like my very practical answer. I would take my laptop.
Mhm.
But if it were to be an emotional item, I would
Mhm.
take the stuffed animal that my ex-husband gave me.
Yeah.
And I realized that was like a sense of safety that I was still hanging on to, and I
Yeah.
didn't completely let it go yet. And
Mhm.
so I feel like a lot of people might have that same kind of struggle,
Yeah.
and that energetically really blocks me
Yeah.
from meeting more people, and just like I have this invisible wall that I'm putting up. So
Yeah.
definitely excited to get that clear today.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad to be talking with you. Thank you for this
Yeah.
opportunity. It's been my journey and my struggle to let
Mhm.
go.
Yeah.
So I tried to figure out, what the process was. I had a very hard time with it. Some people do relationships and then they just move on, and like they can handle it very easily.
Yeah.
And for me, it took much longer.
Mhm.
And I really was seeking all the answers. That book, Eat, Pray, Love. I don't know if you've read it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
So it's just like she did it in like a year. I was like, wow, it took me a lot longer. to,
yeah, yeah. And so, what was your journey like? Like, were you in a long-term relationship?
I was I was married. I was married
Mhm.
for about 7 years, and
Oh, yeah,
then and then came to an end. And I was sort of didn't want it to come to an end. I'm just like the eternal optimist, so I'm just
oh,
like, there's anything we can do to make this work.
yeah.
And it didn't.
Mm,
And yeah, and I was like, I had a very hard time letting go of that
yeah,
relationship.
yeah.
So as I was going through it, I just like searched all the ways to let go. Then I experimented, figured things out, and I was like, okay, did this work? Did this work? Did this work? Finally I found something that worked for me.
Mm,
So I started
yeah,
sharing that, and
yeah.
I'm going to
That's
try it out
great.
on you today. Yeah.
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 Like,
Yeah.
see, won't me cry. Got my tissues ready.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I can just start with, I think you already told me this, but just to be, so what would you like to be able to let go of today?
Um, what would I want to be let go of? Like I guess the need to find someone like him. Because I was like, oh, he like I put him on this pedestal where I feel like, oh, he's like, the standard of like the next person that I need to find.
Yeah.
But in many ways, it's not serving me. And I'm
Yeah.
like repeating patterns almost in a
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
of people who are not accepting me for who I am. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's quite detrimental to like my future healthy
Yeah.
relationship. So I can
Yeah.
let that go.
Yeah. So what would it feel like if you were able to let go? If you were able to fully let go completely,
Yeah.
what would that feel like?
That would feel liberating, definitely. And I would actually have more self-love and self-acceptance. Because the problem with it was that I attach my worthiness to the marriage, thinking that like I was not good enough as a person, because how it ended. So I feel like
Mhm.
if I can detach that whole narrative of a marriage equals me being worthy, I would
Mhm.
have a healthier relationship with myself, which translates
Mhm.
to healthier relationship with others.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what would it look like in your life if you're able to fully let go? Not just how it would feel, but how would your life look like?
Mm, I would just be who I am. Like
Mhm.
I could literally be the best versions of me and without being fearful of what other people think.
Mhm.
And I would be able to like, because my natural self is like to try everything.
Mhm.
But then I guess there's a lot of like narrative saying that you should be a certain way, right?
Mhm.
So if I can like really forge my own path 100%, it would actually inspire other people too,
Mhm.
to say that it's okay to be different.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so it's not really just
It's
you have to
okay
be
to be.
different
It's
for
okay to
others.
be unconventional.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty powerful. So it sounds like you're saying for you to fully step into being an unconventional Asian. I'm using it in both terms, your
yeah, yeah,
business and
yeah,
yourself. Like
yeah,
you want to be able to fully let go.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I mean, and X is one thing, right? Of
Yeah.
also surrendering control.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing for me, like letting go of control,
Yeah.
because I put up a wall,
Yeah.
and of being very independent,
Yeah.
of not just my marriage, where it stemmed from that, but also from like my family upbringing,
Yeah.
where it's like if you don't take care of yourself, nobody's going to help you.
Mm.
But in a relationship, it's really hard when you can't like genuinely really surrender to it and
Mhm.
to see how life unfolds.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, there's merit in being independent, but
Mm.
when it's swung too much on the other side, then you
Mhm.
you won't let people in. So I think
Mm.
it's just kind of striking that balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I like to do now is, some of this may bring up some things, right? And
Mhm.
I don't like to. Interesting that I work with people about the past, but it's not
Yeah.
because we want to dwell in the past, but maybe we
Right.
just want to go back and look at some things so that we can find some closure in it and move on with our
Absolutely.
lives, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and sometimes when we go back to these past moments of our life, it brings up like all of the,
Yeah.
like, okay, I've been like, trying to live my life not thinking about all this. But what I've
Mhm.
found in my own like journey has been like, you need to go back and put some light on it
Yeah.
to, to look at it, and find make peace with it.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
confront the issues, right? It's like
Yeah.
almost like awareness. Like when I'm aware of exactly what happened and what the root cause is,
Yeah.
then I'm able to let go even more because it's like, okay, now I acknowledge you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
instead of denying and pushing it away, which actually persists longer,
Exactly. You got it.
ironically. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So let's go back. So the marriage was how long?
It was 4 years, but I was
4 years.
together with him for 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
So if you went back now, and a couple of things I want to ask you is, sometimes what I do usually is just have people go into like a full thing of this, but we're just going to do this very briefly on this
yeah,
call, which is, so I just want you to think about a couple of things, some of the regrets, things that you were guilty about, things that you're still, I'm at fault about, those types of things.
Mhm,
I just a
mhm.
couple, 2 or 3 things that you might come up, and then also like things you might be still upset and angry with him
Mhm,
about, and things
mhm.
that
Yeah,
might be still there. So can
right.
start with either one.
Okay. Something that I feel like, although I mean, like I would want to say, preface
Yeah,
this too,
yeah,
is that I let go quite a bit. It's
yes,
just not like completely, right?
yes.
So
So let me say this.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead.
So I want you to pick those things that you might be still, that might
So
come
yeah,
up for you.
exactly. That's still like in there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I have awareness of this.
yeah,
It's kind of like, but I don't think I completely like let go yet. It's
yeah.
like that worthiness piece, right? It's
Uh-huh.
like if I felt like I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't good enough in every way. So because of that, then I don't deserve love because it's almost like if I surrender myself and be completely myself, then people won't accept me for who I am, like type of thing.
Mhm.
So that's one bit of it. And because it's like when I was angry, when I show emotions, when I was like, going through all of those things in the marriage, I felt like he didn't like it. And then I was just like, okay, you know what? Then I'll just shut down and be this perfect person, right? And not
Uh-huh.
like, and if I'm not perfect, then I associate that with like, then I'll be abandoned type of thing.
Uh-huh.
So that's that.
Mhm.
What I'm still angry with,
Mhm.
I previously I would still be a little bit hung up on it, like, oh, he but I don't even know if I have anything left.
Yeah,
Like in terms of like residual emotions
yeah,
there.
yeah.
It just more like it's a feeling of safety. Like I wish there's someone who can give me that unconditional love. That I'm like kind of craving. That sense of warmth, which he did give me for a very long time. And then it's like until the end, then it became like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Then it's like,
Mhm.
thereby
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. So are there, just want you to think about this, or maybe you just feel this. Is there any like, you said there weren't very many strong emotions or anything like that towards him. Is there anything, do you feel any kind of thing towards him or the marriage?
Definitely the word unworthy, like
Mm-hmm.
how I feel unworthy,
Mm.
like not good enough,
Yeah.
unworthy. I have to be perfect.
Mm.
Yeah, type of thing. But now again, I don't know if I'm just projecting onto him because I
Uh-huh.
maybe have a sense of like insecurity of my own worthiness. So I don't think he ever said that to me per se, but it's just like
Yeah,
a sense of feeling I had within me.
yeah. And otherwise, other things that you may have had towards him, you don't feel or see any other thing towards him. This is important because
Mhm.
I'll tell you why after. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can just see if you have any other feelings or unsaid things or unresolved things from
towards.
that relationship. Yeah.
Oh, I wish that we communicated better and that he gave me more chances. Like, as in, if, like, because it kind of ended abruptly in a way. So I didn't see it coming.
Uh-huh.
So we never really communicated our conflict like in
Uh-huh.
a productive way. So
Yeah.
that's why I felt like I was completely like blindsided. And
Hmm.
so how do I fix this if I never was able to have the opportunity to? I
Hmm.
mean, towards the end, we did kind of reconcile and try it again for 2 months, but
Hmm.
still, it wasn't like we were able to like tackle it and
Hmm.
try to fix it together.
Hmm.
So that felt a bit unfair.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Other than that, like I felt like we were just not at the right maturity at the time as
Hmm.
well to understand that, and that's just part of the journey. So
Hmm.
like, in that realm, I already let go in that sense.
Hmm. Hmm.
But it just I think the sense of safety, it's something that I'm kind of like missing.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense at all.
Safety. Just say more about safety.
I don't think I've ever met someone that gives me such a sense of like it's home, it's safe,
Yeah.
it's like protection. But then it's
Yeah.
almost like there's a betrayal. It's
Yeah.
almost like, oh, I finally like let go and trusted him, and
Yeah.
then it didn't work out,
Yeah.
right? So then it's like, oh, okay, then I can't trust anybody in the world, like
Yeah.
almost in a way, because like I had the same thing with my family as well, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, your parents are supposed to love you unconditionally. I've
Yeah.
never seen it.
Yeah.
Like, so then I feel like it, then in my marriage, I thought I was going there to having more of that feeling of, being accepted completely, but then
Yeah.
it was not, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not happening. So towards the
Yeah.
end, I was like, okay, forget it. My defense mechanism would be independence. That would solve everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody can hurt me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So what I'm picking up there is, this is the important part. We're getting to, I was sort of trying to figure out what it's at the root of this,
Mhm.
and it sounds like it's almost like, I think maybe you're okay with everything in the marriage and that seems to be sort of over for you, but it's these lingering feelings about safety and worth that are still there, and
Yeah.
almost I feel like unrelated to him in a way. Is that fair to say? Like,
Maybe,
or
yeah. I think I would just attaching that sense of unconditional love and safety to him, and that
yeah, yeah,
worthiness to him,
yeah,
because like that's the only person that has modeled it for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he modeled it, and then he, like you said, the word betrayed.
Hmm, hmm.
He betrayed you on it, and then you sort of felt like someone else that I thought could provide this for me couldn't. Is that fair?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So it's like, okay, I finally let my guard down. I finally found my Prince Charming, and it's like,
yeah,
here we go. It doesn't work again. So it's like,
yeah,
am I broken? Like,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 So let's almost like set him completely aside.
Okay. Okay.
I love this about our, marriage. I think, one thing we find out ultimately is like,
Yeah.
maybe that had nothing to do with them. It's all about like
Right, right. Which is
stuff,
a great awareness piece as well.
yeah, it's just like they were sort of just mirrors that were like.
Mm.
So that's what I want to ask you now. If he was the mirror, what is the what is the reflection?
If he was the mirror, what is
Yeah,
the
if he was,
reflection?
yeah, what is the issue, the root issue, if you're really to look in the mirror and see the thing that is reflecting back at you? What would be the thing that you would see?
Mhm. The same thing. It's like
Yeah,
that it just within me, because I don't love myself unconditionally. Like I want unconditional love, and I want acceptance, and I want worthiness. But I feel like inherently, because I don't believe that for myself, or I haven't cultivated that grounded foundation for myself. So when the other person wasn't able to kind of give that to me, that's why I feel like I'm projecting that, oh, they're not giving me that. But then I
yeah,
need to have that within me first.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's just sort of a realization, acceptance. Like maybe it's not about this. There's not a whole lot. It sounds like that you have to let go in that relationship.
Right.
It sounds like you've done the work, you've
Mhm.
processed it. And maybe the ultimate thing has got very little to do with him.
Mm, right.
It's sort of like it's coming back to, he just sort of worsened the conditions for you to see it.
Ah, right. He just magnified or amplified the
Yeah,
issue.
your family did it. Like, the universe tries to like show us these lessons through all kinds of people and examples.
Mm,
So our families kind of definitely put us in that, they showed us all kinds of things that we realized later on in life. They were like all kinds of
yeah.
mirrors to us. And then it sounds
Right.
like
Right.
he also amplified that. And sometimes if you don't get the message, you're going to keep seeing the lesson over and over again.
Mm, yeah, so good. I think maybe that's why I keep going into the pattern of being attracted to people who are kind of like reminding me of like the lack of unconditional love or the lack of acceptance.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to get into that relationship to fix it. Like,
yeah.
to heal it, like to
Oh
prove
my
myself
God.
that I can
Yeah.
do this.
And you know what's so interesting? What you said earlier, that now, tell me if this makes sense to you. You were like, I'm looking for like someone like him, him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the connection of what that
Yeah.
means now that you've said what you've said? Like,
Right.
you said earlier, I'm looking for someone like him because he was, I don't know, you said he was like a model person, or he,
Yeah, he
um,
has like a list of all the qualities that I wanted. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
like because I'm seeking for that safety, that sense of
yeah,
safety that he kind of gave me. But at the same time, I
yeah,
want to kind of go in there and fix what I thought was broken because it didn't work out.
yeah,
Yeah, I see what you mean. So it's kind of
yeah.
like,
Keep
yeah, no,
going.
go ahead.
No, please
So
say
it's kind
it.
of like, what I was trying to say. It's kind of like I am trying to heal myself by finding another person that's the same as a replicate of him, so that I could prove to myself that I'm worthy, that I'm unconditionally loved. But the thing is, I don't need anyone to prove to me that I'm already that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
So it almost sounds like, yeah. So of course, this thing had to glitch a little bit, so you kind of went into and out of that. But I'm just going to say it, the way I see it. Just tell me if that's what um, Yeah. So it's sort of like you're looking for the safe harbor person to make
Mhm.
you feel loved and unconditionally loved, and
Yeah.
that's the quality in him that you're looking for someone else. But if you remember, like, you couldn't find that in him. So
Right.
it's like, if you couldn't find that in him, are you looking for exact same qualities in someone else
Mhm.
that you will end up in sort of the same place again? So
Right.
you were saying he was the model, he was what you wanted. But
Mm,
if you got what you wanted, you would end up in this same place of being in this unsafe
mm.
place and finding this love in someone, and having to have someone else give you that safe harbor and give you that love and that security.
Right, right. Yeah, I see what you mean. And then that wouldn't work out.
Yeah,
If I'm
yeah,
looking for the same person that was not giving me the things that I'm looking for, then I'm
right.
just kind of repeating that same pattern over and over.
Yeah, yeah. So just
Yeah.
a thought that you said, I feel like I can never find that person like him. I just want to say maybe that's a good thing.
Right. That's true
Right?
because that's
Maybe,
not what I'm supposed to look for.
yeah, maybe, sure, maybe all the external things, all those things, yes, okay, maybe he meets all the checkboxes and everything. But maybe the thing that really matters, the thing that's really your work here in this world, really, the healing that you need is not going to come from many of those qualities.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. That's why it was like, no matter how hard I try, it's still not working.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Knowing how hard within that relationship.
Oh, no, or like in my dating experience now, because I
Oh, right,
always keep like looking for that same pattern, right, of those like
right.
people who have some qualities,
Yeah.
but like they never
Like,
work out because
like
they're kind
what?
of
Just tell me.
emotionally unavailable.
Just give me. Yeah. Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the qualities that they do fit, the qualities that they are, like, what are the
The
types of
qualities are
things?
kind of like very confident, who's like driven, who is
Right.
like very athletic, active,
Yeah.
uh, uh, but they're kind of like their way or the highway. Like,
Mhm.
well, but then I guess I kind of see that as confidence, but in fact, it's kind of insecurity, right? Because it's like if you accept people for who they are and very confident in your ability and just wanting the other person to be happy, you don't need to control the other person's behavior, saying that you're less than or inferior. Like that's how I felt, anyways,
Mhm.
from him. So yeah, then that there's a nuance there. It's like
Mhm.
there's a difference between confidence and cockiness.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
And and which one did he? Which one are you looking for? Which one is attractive to you?
Oh, like like a secure person who's confident,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
without, yeah,
And that's not who he was
right,
necessarily.
like
Right.
right. That's not who he was,
Yeah.
and I thought he was. I think that's
Yeah.
why I got
Yeah.
confused there.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's just an observation to notice that, it may, that nuance, it may appear one way when it may not be that way.
Right. That's true. That's
So it's
yeah.
just again to point out that a lot of a lot of these qualities that you may be looking for may not be what ultimately you need or you
Right.
want or even that's desirable.
Right. Yeah.
I
It's just
think that
reframing that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think just noticing that, just that awareness of that. Like,
Mhm.
it's like, sometimes when you look at those picture books, like they're like, what is this? It's like a witch and whatever. You're like, oh, that's a witch. Oh no, that's a man on a horse.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like the way you see the picture, your
Yes,
perspective.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. And
That's
that's
so
why, there's sometimes when you're talking about a person, two people can have like they're describing the person as two totally different. You're like,
Mhm.
wow, he's like such a, you know, um, all wise, like self-confident, secure man. And someone else looks at him and they're like, oh, he's just like very low self-esteem, very cocky, always trying to prove his self-worth, always trying to make himself better than other people. Just as an example, I'm not saying that's your situation.
Yeah. No, for
Right?
sure. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just kind of reading the comments on the side very quickly.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So yeah, Marie Pear, hi. Alan, Jesse Chang is here too. And
Hi,
then
everyone.
Y Tong Tam. It's like you're the new Clover Lamb. Open up and explore new relationships which inspires you to be you. Don't go back to the old saved beliefs. This is someone out there for you. Go out and explore. You never know unless you try. That's true. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. Yeah. So are we even doing the letting go thing now?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's where let's get back to it. Okay, so here's I think what the thing that we want to get. Yes, because I think what this is helping to get to is the root cause.
Mm,
So and I think what I wanted to bring up the X was for he's a mirror. That's
mm,
where that's where we're back. To
right.
yeah.
Right.
So what is the root? So I think the root cause has very little to. I think you've processed a lot of the things that have to do with him.
Right.
That relationship. I just completely make sure. Just want to ask you this: what is
Yeah.
that stuffed animal? What is that representative of? What is that symbolic of?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, now I want to cry. No. Okay. It's symbolic of family, like that safe place again. Like having a companion. So, oh, are you frozen? Oh, are you here?
I'm okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Family.
Yeah. So it's that sense of companion, like family, the feeling of like safety and a safe place and someone to listen to me and to be there for me. That so is what it represented. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I guess I'm missing that piece,
Hmm.
not so much of like, oh, it just so happens that he was the one who gifted it to me.
Hmm.
That was the symbolic meaning behind that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's very powerful.
Yeah. It's to know that it's actually not him.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you? So this is a second confirmation to me. What are you picking up from that? I'm like, okay, this symbolically describes what we just talked about earlier.
Right.
What would you say that?
That I'm just craving, honestly, love and connection.
Mhm.
Like just like a basic human need, right? And
Yeah.
I guess lately I've also discovered that I've been putting up a wall because I'm denying myself of love and connection, feeling
Hmm.
like if I need it, then I'm weak, right? That
Hmm.
I have to be like this independent woman, whatever.
Hmm.
But now it's just like realizing that it's okay, and that everyone needs to feel safe and wants to feel safe, and sometimes I also don't need that outside of me. I can give that to
Yeah.
myself as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like tell me if this is accurate. Like I want this safety and security and love. I'm not getting it from the outside world, from these people. So I'm
Yeah.
going to put up walls and be hidden from them and not let anyone in.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pretend like I'm strong and I have it all together. And look tough on the outside, but I really want that, and I'm denying what I truly want.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of like denying what I truly want, right? And but then sometimes like it's hard because and the like you might not be able to find that person yet. Like, and plus I don't want to settle. So
Yeah.
there's merit to being independent.
Yeah.
But before I find that it could be a bit hard, and I'm kind of like trying to prep myself and be like, no, you got this. Like, you're independent. Like, again, that wall.
Yeah.
It's during that process. Like, what if I don't find that person? Like, the thing is, I'm not going to settle until I find a really compatible person. But of course, any relationship takes work, and nobody's really ever perfect. But like, I guess, like, the gap in the middle, it's like that feeling of like sometimes I get a little lonely. I won't even allow myself to feel that, because it's like strong people don't feel that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Strong people don't feel.
strong people don't feel lonely. Strong people don't need love and
Yeah.
connection, like, type of thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
acknowledging that that's not true, and we have moments, and it comes in waves.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's very all-powerful stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and
I
on
mean,
the side there, Howie was like, ironically, I feel part of the process of letting go is internalizing and accepting what happened and how the ex relationship changed you, and to channel those lessons and growth into your future. And then unconventional Clover can find unconventional chosen family too. Grateful to know you. Aw. And then Marie's like, I've learned that giving myself a hug feels really good when I feel unsafe. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's true. Unconventional family. Yay.
yeah, great
Yeah.
feedback from everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Very exciting.
so I just want to say, so here's what we're getting to, right? I mean, so one of the rituals I call this root ritual, right? It's like the thing is like that about like what is really going on, right? And so I think this is just what is at the root of it, right? I think it's like not about your ex, it's about this wanting connection, so, and wanting, this secure, unconditional love for yourself.
Yes.
That's the root issue. It's got, so, and I think just getting clear on that. So let me ask you then, what is the work in front of you?
The work in front of me
Yeah.
is to love myself unconditionally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Accept myself for who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is different than finding someone like my ex.
Right.
Or
Well,
finding,
I guess
yeah.
finding someone like my ex was not really like on my radar.
Right.
Like, it was just more like when I was to go out in the real world, like,
Right.
I'm still trying to find that pattern,
Right.
in a way, which doesn't serve me.
Right.
But it's like, okay, it's more like, okay, I'm going to unconditionally accept myself for who I am. So
Right.
when I go into the next relationship, I'm going to look for people who accept me for who I am, and I'm going to
Right.
accept me for who I am. So I'm
Right.
not going to take any bullshit. And
Yeah.
and so, and then also that feeling of safety, like who will not judge me, who will be like accepting.
Yeah.
So that's a different, I guess, barometer or criteria now that I'm looking for.
Yeah. So I think just back to that question of, so yeah, I think you said it, but so what would be the work that you would see within yourself to get to that place? I think that is the thing that's in front of you now. Like, what is the work that you
Right.
see that's going to get you to that place? Yeah.
I guess confronting like the weaknesses and strengths within me, and
Yeah.
being okay with them.
Let me ask you to do it this way. More like
Yeah.
not thinking about it, but maybe just a more your wisdom speaking, your inner truth
Right.
speaking, like from that kind of a place. Like, what is the work that you see? More like a checking in with yourself, being grounded in yourself, not thinking about it. Like, what do you see as the work that's in front of you?
Let's know that I'm already enough. Like, I actually don't. It's like I'm not doing it for the sake of other people, right? Like, I'm doing it for myself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. at all of the most critical points, it glitches a little bit.
Oh no. Sorry.
It's almost like the gold, it glitches. It's just so odd. Like every
Oh,
time. Yeah. It's almost like this, Clover. I'll almost say this. It's almost like the technology can't handle the truth.
yeah.
So
I
it's like
like
it
that.
just seemed at every point, critical point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like it's
it
like
glitches.
just going so, yeah, it's just like I can't handle this.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna repeat it until
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
like
Okay. Yeah. Go
working.
ahead, please.
No,
Yes.
quickly.
Yeah.
Uh, so basically, I was saying that I need to accept, well, to know that I'm already enough.
Mhm,
So it's not like I need to even work on it, because
mhm,
previously I'm like, okay, I need to do this in order to feel love. I need to get this in order to feel whatever, right? Like validated. But it's like,
mhm,
no,
mhm,
I'm who I
mhm,
am. It's good enough, yeah, type of thing.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah.
Like not to be complacent, but
Right.
it's to just like I don't. There's nothing for me to prove.
Yeah. The way you're saying that, and the truth of that is like that sounds like that's work, and that sounds like that's not work. You see what
Exactly,
I'm saying?
exactly. It's like a
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah.
It's like I
It
will
sounds like
control.
there's things that you might need to do, but really it's just more of this acceptance, right? There's
Yeah,
nothing that needs to be done.
right, right. Yeah. Oh, virtual hugs. Yeah. Thank you for watching. But
So
yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, so okay, so the next thing, just sort of to this is good. I usually, when we're doing this in a letting go of a X type thing,
Mm,
which is, you know, I think what we have done is I think we've realized that it's not so much about that,
mm,
and it's more about acceptance, understanding, awareness of this root issue. And I
mm,
think the root issue has come out so clearly that it's
mm,
really not about the X. And I think for other people, it's very hard to identify that. We
mm,
start getting into this, and we go into like all kinds of things that happened in the past
right.
and what they did, and it takes like a long time to get to the root you
Mm,
know but I think here we are pretty much like this is what I try to get to with people very but it just takes a while
I
because the relationship is kind of like, in a way, I'm speaking spiritually here, kind of like a distraction
mm,
from the inner work that needs to be done
yeah,
and the real issue at hand. We just like think that, oh, they are anger, or they are their non-communication, their whatever, that's the issue. And
mm,
maybe if I just didn't find that in another person or whatever, that issue would go away then.
right.
But what I've come to find is like, everything that I thought about my ex and all the work that everything that she should have done, all of those things, I just realized it was nothing. It's not really about her. It was just a
Right.
mirror back to myself, and this is
Yes.
what I see within myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And would you say, because I have learned also, um, that in relationships, even if you're going into a relationship, that person is still just a mirror back to who you are and what you need to heal within yourself.
Right,
So,
right,
like, even if it's like your ex or your current partner, it's just
right.
everyone in your life here are
Yeah.
supposed to just mirror that back to you.
Yeah, so that you can get this understanding, this awareness, this growth,
Yeah.
this healing. You can't heal what you can't see.
Right. Right. That's so good. Yeah. I love that.
So it's just when we get, so I'm glad where we are, and also I think I'm just pointing out that we may not be letting go of an ex, right? What I
Mhm.
would like, and so when we do that work, I do like a closure letter. I help them like say goodbye to that person so we could get to the root. But
Right.
in this case, I almost feel like, if there's a way to do this, if we
Yeah.
can say, have a closure with that previous you, almost is what I'm feeling like I
Sure.
want to
Yeah. Yeah.
say.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just so I'll sort of modify it for yourself,
Yeah.
as opposed to another person, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I think you had like just a just a small piece of paper, just so we could do
I
this
have it. Yeah.
exercise.
Yeah.
So just these maybe 4 statements.
Okay.
So I'm sorry for.
I'm sorry for.
I'm ready to forgive you for.
I'm ready to forgive you for.
What I've not been able what I've not been able to say to you is.
Okay.
And I want to thank you for.
Ooh. I'm gonna cry. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So the way I do it otherwise is I make people do this at home and then read it out to me. But this is live and we're
I'm
doing
gonna
this
do
all
it.
now.
Gonna
We're gonna do it
show
now.
the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Let's get some tissues. Okay, number 1. I am sorry. I'm now talking to myself, right? This is because I'm saying it to the old me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Clover, I'm sorry for treating you and not loving you unconditionally and not accepting you for who you are. Number 2, I'm ready to forgive you for being imperfect and having emotions. And then number 3,
It doesn't just have to be one thing. You could fully say everything that's
that I feel. Okay.
on each issue. Yeah. Yes. If I didn't mention that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm ready to forgive you for being angry at times that you are allowed to be angry. I am ready to forgive you for beating yourself up when you think you need to be perfect. I'm ready to forgive you for, which I said before, not just being perfect. And number 3, what I've not been able to say to you is that I love you for you. And I want to thank you for being brave, vulnerable, and real, and to be a light to myself and to the world.
Wow.
Yeah. Cool.
Wow, that was very powerful. Just hearing that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it feels good though.
I want to thank you for.
Oh, thank you.
I want to thank you.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first.
I guess the hardest for me it's apologizing to myself actually. Yeah. So, anyways, I'll let you talk.
I just wanted to acknowledge you for doing that because I think just this is very hard to do live, very hard to do even not live.
Yeah.
To be, and I want to just acknowledge you for being brave, vulnerable, and real. That's the exact words that you used, and being a light for yourself, and I think so many other people that are watching.
Yeah. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you for reaching out. It was thanks to Jessie who connected us together as well. I think people do come into our lives for a reason to help you, to mirror back what you need to heal within yourself, and also to bring light and inspiration for each other. So I'm sure we've kind of crossed paths because of that too. So really appreciate what you do because with your own pain that you've gone through and the process you had to experience, and you've kind of come to your process, which is now helping a lot of people. So really thank you sincerely for being here today, so the people can witness how a kind of a letting go process works, even though it might not be the most complete because it was not really letting go of an ex, but it was a letting go of my old self, which can be very relevant to everything that we're trying to let go of, right?
Yeah.
So can you walk us through quickly what the 7 rituals are?
Sure.
Kind of have sense.
Yeah. So when I do this, I have a little guide on it, which I sent to you.
Mhm.
So when I went through this, just to let people know what the letting go rituals are, this is just things that I developed on my own and what worked for me. So first, there's the grieving ritual. So this is more relation to an ex, but you can try to see how it applies to ourselves as well. I haven't
Yeah.
quite, I might do that next blog post in the future.
Yeah.
So the grieving ritual is basically getting all the emotions out and putting everything that you had towards your ex out there and processing it. I think sometimes we just go along in life and think like everything is fine. It's not anything to do with our exes. And it's like, oh, if I just found the right person. So a lot of people just don't take the time at that time to grieve and get everything out because they don't want to feel bad. So the grieving ritual, then the forgiveness ritual, which is forgiving your ex and yourself, which I usually find is the hardest work for people. They just have a hard time forgiving themselves for all the things that happen in the relationship. They think to themselves, like, I'm such a bad person. I did all these horrible things. I'm not going to forgive myself.
Mhm.
Then is the root ritual, which is, I think, a lot of what we did. It was so kind of easy with you because you got right to the root very easily. Like, just shows like a lot of self-awareness on your part, and you've been doing a lot of the work. So, I
Mhm.
spend like, hours trying to get, I'm like, yeah, it's that, but what is it really? What is the root of what's keeping you stuck? So it's the root ritual.
Yeah.
Then it's the closure ritual, which is what we just did, which is, creating some kind of closure for yourself. Because a lot of times with our exes, especially, we don't, they don't give us the closure that we want, especially people in like toxic, unhealthy relationships. They're not going to give you any explanation or anything. So how do you find closure? Then there's a transformation ritual, which is telling a new story about this relationship and a new meaning for it. That may be the last thing I have you do, actually.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the transformation ritual.
Mhm.
Then 6 is the self-acceptance ritual.
Mm.
I just found by talking to people that this all, it's a ritual. Like I've realized, like, okay, at some point along this path, you're going to realize that it's about not rejecting yourself, accepting yourself for fully who you are, and accepting your self-worth. And finally, just clarity ritual, which is, I think, the first question that I asked you, which was, can you see a future for yourself after this? What's next? And not focusing on the past. Like, how do you move forward and live your life
Yeah.
and have clarity about the future and not just be caught up in these things that are pulling us back.
Yeah.
So
That's
those
great.
are the 7 rituals. And I would like to ask you, just for the transformation ritual, which is, not looking at the things that you did before, but looking at it in a more empowering, giving new meaning of that relationship to yourself.
Mhm.
What would you say now about this chapter of your life, this relationship,
Yeah.
this lesson?
Yeah. That I have, like, I'm proud of myself for realizing and being aware of the past patterns and the conditionings. And I'm ready to move forward to go out in the real world and try and experiment to see what works for me. Because now it's actually quite fun to see like dating as an experiment, like
Mm-hmm.
to figure out if that person that I'm, go on a date with is able to tease a certain aspect of me out. Like, do I like the version of me when I'm with them? Instead of seeing, am I good enough for that person? It's a very empowering way to look at dating. And it's a
Wow.
lot more fun as well. Because, like, cool, he said that, and I didn't like it. Interesting. Why?
Mhm.
And it's almost like a whole self discovery exercise.
Yeah.
And now it's like I'm enjoying the process instead
Yeah.
of so fixated on the outcome,
Yeah.
which makes it a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah. And so I think the transformation there is exactly what you said, right? And the new meaning that you're giving it to it would not have come if you had not gone through this fire of this relationship,
yeah. Mhm.
and it had to burn away like all of these other things for you to
Yeah.
now come out in this place. And
Yeah.
now, like, there's so much to be thankful and almost grateful for that, for giving you this.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I remember writing a blog post called Why My Divorce Was the Best Thing That Happened to
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that
I
was
did catch it.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was great, like to realize that, those are all the lessons that we've learned. And
Yeah.
usually the most painful thing and the most traumatic thing, if you're able to see it as a lesson, there's so many things you can get out of it. And every dynamic, every relationship, you can tease all those lessons out. And then I realized life is way, way more fun. Instead of like being really fixated on a certain outcome, which in the Asian culture, like it is very celebrated that no, you're gonna get A, you're gonna get into a marriage, you're gonna like get all these results, but sometimes it can make us miserable when we're not getting the results we want. But if we can enjoy the process and realize we're just becoming more authentic during the journey, I think that's more powerful and more I guess fulfilling. So.
Wow. Okay, that's when the audience would stand up and like we give you the standing ovation for like that's amazing. That was what a powerful lesson, transformation, truth, understanding. I think you've said it all right there.
Yeah, because I realized like the discovery of yourself equals happiness to me. Because Tony Robbins was saying progress equals happiness. I realized that it's progress towards yourself equals happiness. So I think people might resonate, might not, but that's the revelation I had.
So beautiful, so powerful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this has been, I've had a transformation just talking to you.
Oh, I'm so glad. We're just here to help each other, I think, at the end of the day. And we're all here to learn together. I think nobody's better than the other. And it just, I'm just so grateful to have wonderful people like yourself in the audience to be here to witness this journey together. And if you have any questions at all, you guys type in the comments below. I know we have someone who said here, gosh, you're making me cry too, but that's a beautiful revelation. Thanks for the enlightening moments from you and Vishnu. So, yeah. Oh, and she has that effect, Marie said. You guys are so sweet.
I think you're just doing an amazing thing by doing this and being so open about it and helping other people go through their journey as well.
Yeah, hopefully that's my goal.
I mean, no one is going to let us into their inner world so openly and transparently, but it's all of the same struggles that we have. And I think you do that so beautifully. And it's like, if you can do that in the context of a coaching call, you definitely can do that in life and your relationships.
Yeah, appreciate that. And just to wrap up, so where can the audience find you? Because I'm sure a lot of people might like want to kind of work with you or learn this ritual as well, because it's very powerful.
You don't have to necessarily work with me, but you can pick up the rituals. It's vishnusvirtues.com, VISHNUS, VIRTUES.com. And if you sign up, you will get the 7 rituals. And I think the reason that I want people to have the rituals and to do this, it's like, I just feel like the reason I'm doing this and I'm so passionate about this work is because I'm like, our exes, our past relationships took so much out of us, but we can't continue to take the rest of our lives, let them take even more out of us and keep us like, we just need to take the lesson and move on. We can't allow them to like, kind of hurt us and do all kinds of things to us in the relationship. And then we're like prolonging this forever. We need to let go of them and only take the lessons. So I think the more people that take the lessons and realize, people get caught up on the ex and everything that happened to them without realizing there's a lesson and wisdom and insight and the root of what, you need to learn in life. And I think if we did that, our world would be so much better because probably for a lot of us, we're all stuck in all these past events. So, how do you get to like the place that you are at, that beautiful passage, which that you said at the end there, like, and how does this become like, fun and, progress to become more of who you are? How do you come to that? That didn't just happen like overnight. I mean, you had
it took me a long time to get there.
A lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of tears, a lot of self-awareness to get to this point. And a lot of people just take a lot longer time to get there. They're thinking, That's okay. That's okay. But I want to kind of help them get there quicker.
Yeah, no, it's true. Exactly. Well, that's why we all need coaches, right?
Yes,
Like
yes,
therapists, coaches, guides to
yes,
just bring
yes.
us there a lot faster.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So
Thank
yeah.
you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
guys
you.
for watching. And there's going to be a replay. So if you have any more questions, type in the comments below and we'll get Vishnu to answer them, or me if you have any questions at all. So thank you for watching, guys. We will see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you.